After a teaching incident in Chicago, Jim Norman, Tim Matheson, is forced to go back to his hometown for the only teaching job he can find. With this, old repressed memories of his brother's murder come flooding back to him. Somehow, though, the guys that killed his brother, who were hit by a train right after the incident, also come back. And they want revenge. This is just one of those movies that was better than it had any right to be. Despite it being kinda cliched, weird editing at times, and some overacting, this was a pretty damn good movie. There were plenty of creepy, tension-filled scenes with the greasers in the classroom, as well as a great scene towards the end of the film. The greasers overact to the nth degree, and it can be a bit annoying at times. However, they do make up for it during the classroom scenes, where they're more subdued, which is infinitely creepier. Even during some of the more eccentric scenes, they can get pretty sadistic. Despite filling that common quote-unquote sadistic greaser bully trope that King uses a lot, they were good villains. Also, is it me, or does the main greaser look a lot like Hayden Christensen? Anyway, there were some really weird cuts throughout the film too. They weren't even cuts to go to commercial or anything, just a cut too soon or a shot that went on too long and then cuts. As I stated, the story feels a bit cliche, but I think it makes up for it in the themes, acting, and interesting lore. Matheson does an excellent job in the lead role, and is really believable as a man haunted by his past. The flashback scenes that turn nightmarish in Jim's mind are pretty interesting and convey what he's feeling, despite them being corny at times. Brooke Adams, who was previously in the Dead Zone, does a decent job here, as well as Robert High Gorman as Scott. He's not as annoying as he is in Leprechaun, so that's certainly a plus. I also like the themes of grief and moving on. They remind me a lot of It in terms of going back to your hometown, reliving bad memories, and conquering the paranormal to move on with your life. Plus, there's evil greasers, so there is that, as well as the fact that it's 27 years between the childhood incident and the events of the movie, which is how many years it is between the events in It. And you even have a character saying, I don't want to be afraid anymore, like in the original miniseries.
Coincidence? I think not!
It probably is. I also really like the ending too. It really worked. I wish I could talk about it more, but I don't want to spoil it. In terms of its relation to the original short story, it keeps it relatively the same story except that some character names are changed. However, the ending is drastically changed from the original story and definitely dumber than shown in the movie. The movie ending is way better. Overall, this was a pretty great movie. It had some rough moments and some done ones, but for a TV movie, it's really not half bad. It's actually on YouTube, so you can check it out right now if you want. This was eventually followed up with Sometimes They Come Back Again, which was more of the same crap, but tweaked slightly with different characters and a different setting and a different story, and Sometimes They Come Back for More, which is just a shittier version of The Thing but with zombies. Stay away from those, but watch the original. It's surprisingly good.